listening to Jamie's Local Love, the podcast, an Arizona's Family Originals podcast.
Hi, everyone. I'm your host, Jamie Soretta. On this podcast, we celebrate everything local. And I want to introduce my old friend, Paul Hoffman from Desert Rock Winery and Distillery. Paul, hello.
Jamie, it's great to see you. Thanks for having me back again.
Great to see you again. I feel like we've kind of grown up together.
Totally.
In the last 10 years.
We've
been working here in Phoenix. And it's great to see you again. I know you have things up your sleeve that are new, but I want to take people back and introduce them to you and kind of your history here with wine, with distilling, with liquor, and how this all began for you.
It all started, I started out as a bar back in this business and eventually grew within that, management, hotels, et cetera. I lived in the Caribbean for 6 years running a distributor down there.
Oh.
And at
Rum?
We actually were the distributors for Cruise and Rum down there.
Wow.
And so, because I was in St. Thomas and St. Croix and St. John.
Yum.
And that's where I started really falling in love with the business and making some great relationships, one being the Robert Mondavi family. And so when I decided to leave the Caribbean, I actually went to work for Robert Mondavi as one of the directors of wine education.
Oh, wow. So tell me who Robert Mondavi is.
So Robert Mondavi is probably the icon in the wine industry. He basically put Napa on the map. His family moved from Minnesota basically to ship grapes back to families in Minnesota to make homemade wine during Prohibition, and eventually elevated their program to start producing fine wines. He felt that Napa could put fine wine on the map and not just be, a European competitor, but actually really to feature Napa. So,
well, he was right, wasn't he?
He's totally right. Yeah.
He was right.
When he started, there were only 25 wineries. Robert Mondavi was 26 in 1966, and then they now there's over 1,300 licensed wineries in Napa Valley.
Oh my goodness, how incredible! So you're working for this fella.
So lucky. It was, it was a paid education, basically. You got to be a part of all blends, all trials, all experiments, and really kind of understand the lifestyle that he wanted everyone to be a part of.
Right.
And that's just the good life.
So this is kind of what you are doing right here now in Phoenix.
Yeah. So when the company sold, I started a winery with his grandson.
Oh.
Eventually sold that back to him and then started out my own company based out of here in 2006. Moved up to Napa and Sonoma. Had to really focus on my vineyard knowledge and winemaking. Yeah. So did that for about 6-7 years and then saw an opportunity to move everything down here.
Why Phoenix, why Scottsdale? Because you're located where exactly?
So we're 1 block south of the Scottsdale Quarter. So we're in the Air Park right there. We had an urban winery in San Francisco, and I was looking around Phoenix, 5th largest city in the country.
Yeah.
There's no urban winery where you can go and touch and feel and see things being done. You can go up to Cottonwood, you can go up to Jerome, you can go down south to Wilcox, etc. But there was nothing here. So we decided to pack everything up out of Sonoma and San Francisco and move it down here in 2015.
Wow. And so since then, you have continued to grow your brand. You make just about everything that you would want to be drinking with your dinner.
Yeah.
Tell me about the varieties that you have.
So we started out with wine, and then in 2019, fortunately, Governor Ducey decided to eliminate a law that it prevented having a winery and distillery in the same roof.
Oh, interesting.
So we were super lucky, especially the timing, right before 2020.
Right.
So we started out with wine. We continued. I kept all of my contracts in California, just longstanding relationships and pricing, et cetera. They know our quality standards. So we decided to keep all that, but produce everything here. So we produce everything, 3 sparkling wines, 10 white wines, 14 red wines, and they change all the time. We've got a great club membership that of about 300 couples.
Oh.
And we cap it at 300, but we like to mix it up and give them something different all the time. So if one of my buddies in California will call me and say, hey, I've got a couple barrels of this. Do you want to do something? So we like to have something a little special for them.
So the grapes are coming from California, right?
Yeah.
Okay, grapes are
We
coming
have
from California.
Two vineyards here that we work with as well.
Oh, which ones are those?
So down in Wilcox, and then up north as well, the Red Rock Vineyard.
Oh, very cool. Okay, I didn't know that. So you get the grapes,
Yep.
or do you get the juice?
We get we do both.
Okay,
So
what
depending on the condition of the
Yeah.
grapes. So like we just got our Nebbiolo sent in a couple weeks ago, and we had a stomping party and everything else. So it just depends on the condition and the vintage.
Okay.
So I'll either crush them here, crush them in California, bring the juice, ferment everything here, or actually have it fermented if it's past its prime, basically.
How often are you doing these grape stomping parties?
Once a year.
Once a year.
Yeah.
And what time of year does that come?
So it's typically September to October.
Okay, so that's good to know just for next year. I
Right.
need to clear my calendar, start checking in
I
a little
know.
bit.
I invited you.
I know. And I've been there before, and it was really fun. It's just when you
You
go
said
back
it was
to
a
the-
bucket list thing for you.
It is. And see, the thing is, you had me check that off. So I
Yep.
checked it off, but I got to do it again. You're right.
It was super fun.
And it's so, iconic because I, grew up watching Lucille Ball stomp those
And that was
grapes.
totally it. It was super, super fun. We had a bunch of people come in, a little harvest party. I rode in on a motorized skateboard
Of
to
course
bless
you
the
did.
grapes.
Oh, yes,
you
yes.
know.
Were you dressed in any costume or anything?
I was in a monk outfit.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
So yeah, we like to have fun with it and keep it light. So
And you do have a lot of fun. You throw a ton of events for the community, and community is really important for you too.
super important, especially when it comes to veterans and animals. For us, that's kind of our focus. We've partnered up with Soldier's Best Friend to donate everything from our bourbon whiskey of $5 a bottle to them, because that kind of mirrors what we focus on. Be it my whole family is veterans, my grandfather's father, the Marines, and animals to us. We do a ton of rescue
Work,
a ton of rescue, and we've gotten 24 dogs rescued out of the winery
Wow.
since we've been open.
Oh
So
my gosh, that's awesome! Congratulations.
thank you. And
So
dogs
would-
are always welcome.
Yes, dogs are always welcome at the winery. So you have wine.
We do.
What else do you have? Distillery as well.
So, and after that 2019 law change,
Yeah.
we were already making some distilled spirits in Kansas. We decided let's bring it all under one roof, and we started producing everything in 2019. And we now have it's about 27, 28 different spirits, and we change them up a little bit. We focus on no sugar elements.
Thank you.
Of spirits. Which is why everything is at 80 proof or 40%
Oh.
alcohol, unlike a lot of other flavored
Okay.
elements. And we try to keep them very clean, very pure.
Well, people are
And-
looking for that now.
Yeah, why not?
Very aware.
Yeah, you don't want that headache in the morning from a
Right.
bunch of sugar.
Yeah.
So we focus on that. We've been fortunate enough to have 20 of our items in Total Wine throughout the entire
Wow.
state.
How
So
cool is that?
13 states. It's amazing. They've definitely helped us maintain our ability to stay open through COVID, et cetera. It's really been great local support, really.
Yeah, I've seen your products there, and I was always so proud.
Yeah,
And then
thank you.
the nice thing about Total Wine is they'll let you taste it.
Yeah.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
You make a field trip over there.
And you can always come to our tasting room.
I mean, what a perfect lead-in. So tell me how we can come touch, see, feel, because this isn't something we just have to buy on a shelf.
Nope.
We can be part of this experience there.
You can come in 4 days a week. So right now it's Thursday through Sunday. We'll eventually open Wednesday, so it'll be 5 days a week. And you can come in and do tastings. And unlike a lot of other places, you don't just have to do wine. You just don't have to do spirits. You can combine anything and mix and match. You can have a glass of wine. You can have a bottle of wine. You can have a cocktail, whatever. We have live entertainment that we bring in during season.
Because you like a little rock and roll.
Yeah, it's called Desert Rock, not Desert Jazz.
And you have a headbanger decal hanging from your neck there.
Of course.
So you know there's going to be some rock and roll there.
That
There's
is-
going to be
that-
some animals and some love for the vets.
And that's another tie-in. The rock industry has been very good for us. We make a lot of wines for different rock and roll bands and sell them and help promote them. So it definitely, the Headbanger being our lead brand, it's definitely my upbringing in New Jersey in the 80s, where you were pretty much forced to love rock and roll.
Yeah.
So we kind of just translate that into our brand.
Where did you grow up?
In New Jersey?
In New Jersey. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And then, so you ended up here. Why did you stay here in Phoenix? Why did you build your brand here in Phoenix?
I came back here. This is the only place. So I've been fortunate to live all over the world. So be it from New Jersey, Florida, the Caribbean, Atlanta, here, Napa, Sonoma. This is the place I fell in love with.
Really? Why?
It's the only place I've ever moved back to. Quality of life. It's people, it's places, it's community. It is literally just super welcoming to anyone. And I hear that all the time. We get so many tourists coming in to come and taste wines or spirits, and they're like, everyone's so friendly here.
Really?
And
nice.
it's so clean and so accommodating. There's so much to do. And that was the draw for me.
Yeah, that's wonderful. We all know I love it here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love here. I'm like, go on. Tell me about, we're going to be starting to plan for the holidays.
Yes.
So not only are we going to need beverages in our home in case we're entertaining or doing a Thanksgiving, doing a holiday or some kind of party or gathering, we'll need stuff in the home, but we may need some stuff for gift giving as well. You can help us really personalize.
Totally. We have a program to private label, basically create your own, be it personal, be it for your business, as gifts, what have you, or if you just want to pour something at your own house party,
cool.
we can basically
Soretta Reserve.
privatize. Totally. Easy to do.
So this would include what? Picking out your own label or a tasting?
Yeah,
or
so we make it easy. There's no label charges. There's no design charges. There's no anything. You literally send us the graphic that you want and the verbiage that you want, and we put that into our template and produce that for you for a minimum of 12 bottles.
Wow. Okay. I like that idea.
Yeah, it's super fun, and it's unique. And you're not going to be able to compare something in a grocery store as a gift or what have you. Right. So it's a nice, unique little gift.
They'll know there was some forethought going into it.
Yeah, it's personalized.
You brought a couple things here.
Yes.
So shall we start with the rosé?
It's Jaime rosé all day. So
you know who you're coming to see today.
I know,
you
exactly.
know. Tell me he knows me. So, all right, so that's coming home with me.
Yep.
What is it? Tell me about it.
So that is our sparkling Pinot Noir rosé. So when we crush our Pinot Noir, we bleed off a little bit after a couple hours of skin contact, so you get this nice, beautiful kind of pink color to it.
It's beautiful.
And then we barrel ferment that, so it's pretty young, pretty vibrant, and then we carbonate it as well, and that gives us a rosé. It also helps the Pinot Noir get a little bit more dense and a little bit darker.
Okay.
So it's twofold.
Interesting. Okay,
And
helps both parties.
Yeah, and that's a favorite around the tasting room for sure. Yeah.
Okay, barbecue sauce. What's
Barbecue
going
sauce.
on?
Everyone kept saying, I'm putting your whiskey into our barbecue sauce. And I'm like, well, why wouldn't I just do that on my own?
There you go.
So we get food trucks on the weekends, as you've seen.
Yes.
We don't have a kitchen, so we've partnered with a bunch of food trucks and try to mix it up and keep it
a little
fresh.
party.
Yeah, keep it fresh.
Yeah.
And so one of our food truck partners is the Lobstar.
Oh.
And so it's a lobster food truck.
Of course.
They're about once a month. And they have a commercial kitchen. So I worked with their owner, Dave, to kind of put together the first of 3 barbecue sauces.
Okay, to be continued.
So this one is with our American Gold whiskey, which is caramel maple butterscotch.
That sounds delicious.
The next one will be peach. And then we're going to do our hot cinnamon and honey.
Oh, my gosh.
So I have a little 3-pack for gifts.
That's a great gift.
Yeah.
I mean, people cook at home. People started barbecuing at home during the pandemic a lot.
Totally.
And barbecue sauce can save your chicken.
It's all, it's all American, right? Barbecue is all American.
Yes, it really is. So that's a great gift.
Yeah, we've had fun with that. Total Wine's picking us up as well.
Oh.
So we'll have that. Hopefully the 3-pack will be in there for the holidays.
Very cool. Okay, so we can look for that. And then you have the Bourbon Whiskey Reserve. Tell me about this.
We just launched this back in July. Bourbon is pretty specific, right? It has to be all corn. It has to be aged for 2 years in American oak. This one is actually aged for 7 years. So I've been sitting on this for 7 years, waiting.
A little trick up the sleeve.
Yeah.
And wait.
Well, it teaches you patience.
Yes, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah. But it's rewarding when you actually get to it.
Yeah. So that first sip that you had of it after 7 years of waiting,
I was wowed.
You were? Oh,
yeah.
good.
So, and we kept this at 100 proof because I just didn't even want to cut it. It was just perfect on its own. Yeah. And then I wanted to make this very American, so we partnered up with Soldier's Best Friend to do $5 donations to them.
Yeah. How'd you find them?
On TV.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Hopefully Arizona's family.
Yeah, it was.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was.
I know I did a segment with them, but they have benefits for veterans and soldiers, and they have dogs.
Yeah, so they go and rescue dogs from shelters and then train them to be support dogs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I couldn't find a better partner.
Nope, that's up your
for
alley.
that. So yeah, it fits right in there. So
Oh, that's wonderful.
yeah, so that's our newest release. We have new stuff all the time, different flavors, fun stuff. Again, low or no sugar whatsoever.
How has business been?
It's tough. Not gonna lie. So small businesses, a lot of my friends have unfortunately gone out of business.
In the wine and distilling business?
Yeah, even the little brew shop that we used to support to get corks and glass and things like that, they went out of business as well. So now you're buying things out of state, shipping them in, which is a higher cost. But it's been really difficult, and people's patterns change. Right, people are still drinking.
Right.
That's
they always
happen.
will.
But they're shifting their patterns.
So how
right?
so?
So they'll drink.
You can shift with them, right?
We can, but being a small business, you don't have the economy of scale to buy in greater portions. So, but they'll shift down a little bit. They'll change. They'll spend $20 on 2 bottles instead of 1 bottle.
I see.
And you see a lot of retail and unfortunately a lot of restaurateurs have been affected as well because people aren't going out to spend as much money there. They'd rather cook at home and buy retail.
Oh.
So you just got to keep shifting.
Yeah. And inflation's been hitting everybody really hard. And then especially when you talk about the supplies that you need to put your product on the shelf.
Yeah. Here's an example. Our glass is shipped from a warehouse in California and a pallet of that used to be $178. It's now $498.
Oh.
And that's no difference. Nothing is changed. It's inflation. It's the gas prices. It's the fuel surcharges, et cetera. And in a small operation like ours, you can't just pass that on to the consumer.
Right.
Because they'll just go to a Costco or whatever and buy something different.
So what's your plan?
Just hold tight.
Yeah,
hold tight and get creative. We've gotten creative in terms of our portfolio.
Yes,
and offering different unique items, different items, and also doing events. I'm trying to get people out to have something that is, more unique or entertainment, just to give them a reason to go out.
Yeah. And for folks who are trying to gather, they may not have, I don't have space to present with my friends, but you have space.
Plenty of space.
Have a space where I could get a couple of friends together to do a tasting or, attend one of your big events, cruise by on the way up to Kierland if I have to, my sister lives up there.
Right.
Pick up some lobster, something from the lobster truck and a bottle to go. That helps. Every person who does that, it helps.
And like you said, we have space, and we don't charge for space or anything. We just want you to come in there and have a good time. So we've got a cellar that can basically sit up to 160 people or just be 10, 5, whatever.
Yeah. So think of Desert Rock if you're thinking about ways to celebrate with the family or places to be with the family over the holidays.
Especially out-of-town guests or something. You want them to have an experience that's unlike anything else. Because where else can you see wine, spirits being made, bottled, and touch and feel, go by an oak barrel and see what that feels like. Yeah. There aren't many places that you can do that here.
Yeah, really unique experience. I've always enjoyed my time when I go there. On this podcast, I like to ask people about the jump, about what you would tell yourself before you made that jump into going into business for yourself, what you would tell someone else who might be thinking about going into business for themselves.
Slow roll. Take it slow. Don't try to be everything to everybody. Do what you're passionate about. Make that your focus, and let that be your building block for sure. But I may have jumped the gun a little bit and moving stuff and expanding. So we always try to ratchet it back down and not expand too fast. Yeah. And, of course, I wanted to be distributed throughout the entire country.
Of course, yes. We want to speak that into existence for you.
We were in 13 states, and that was pulling us in too many different directions. So I just circled the wagons and brought everything back here and then made Arizona the pure focus.
Yeah. Well, we like being the pure focus as Arizona. What are you loving right here in Arizona right now? What are you reading? What are you eating? What are you drinking? What are you loving in Arizona? What are you doing?
Everything now that the weather's broke.
Yeah.
It's
nice?
Outside, being able to open that garage door and open the tiki deck that we have outside and just going and living outdoors again is just my greatest pleasure. Right
I'm not going to let you breeze by the tiki deck. Tell me more about this tiki deck.
So that we converted. So back during COVID, when they said, take over your sidewalks, take over your parking lots, turn them into outdoor spaces to get people outside. So we took 3 of our parking spaces out front and created what I now call the tiki deck. So there's tables, umbrellas, tiki torches out there that can seat pretty much up to about 60 people.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and it's good fun to get people out there. It's a nice environment.
And it's perfect time.
Yeah,
you're right. It is
we got 9 months of utopia.
Yes,
right?
We made it through the hot summer. We made it through the hot summer.
That was not easy.
So as folks are thinking about their holiday plans, this is something that people can make a specific choice to buy local.
Totally.
When they're buying their wine, when they're buying their barbecue sauce, when they're buying their bourbon, their whiskey, when they're buying just about anything, you have different options like an experience that they could have at your place. And you just heard Paul say how buying local is so important and is a game changer to a person who's trying to make a difference in his community and these different charities that you support so wholeheartedly.
Right. All goes back.
Yeah. And Paul, it's always great to see you. And
Thank
what
you
a
so
great
much.
pleasure to have you on my podcast.
Always
Thank
my
you.
pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Jamie's Local Love, the podcast. I'm your host, Jamie Serretta. Our technician is Tom Heidinger. Our editors are Lorraine Shearing and Gina Coy. Do you know a business worthy of some local love? Email me at jserretta@azfamily.com. Follow us at facebook.com/Serretta and Instagram @Serretta News. Make sure to subscribe and give us a 5-star review, please. And tell your friends about the podcast and the businesses we feature to show your local love. You can find us on Apple, YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, and anywhere you get your podcasts.
Jamie's Local Love, an Arizona's Family Originals podcast.